Football is finally back and the Premier League is upon us today, and it is going to be another exciting season. But today we're going to kick it off with my Premier League predictions, and we're going to waste no time kicking it off with 20th place being AFC Bournemouth. This is a very easy shout as their team just screams championship. They've not made enough additions and they really have no Premier League quality players outside of Philip Billing or Jefferson Lerma, and this team is going straight back down to the championship where they came from, and I do not see them having any chance in the Premier League next season. Following them in 19th place, I have a very rogue shout with Southampton. The Saints are going down. I know this is a very surprising shout, but for me, they don't have enough goals in them. I don't think Adam Armstrong and Che Adams is a strong enough duo to keep the side up above the teams that I have farther up in the table that are staying up. I don't think this team has enough goals. Yes, I think Mohamed Salisu is a brilliant defender. I think Tino Livramento is brilliant. They don't have a good enough goalkeeper. They are lacking in depth, and I don't think they have the goals up front. Following them in 18th place, I have another very rogue shout that a lot of people won't be going with, is Brighton and Hove Albion. For me, yes, they have a fantastic manager in Graham Potter, and they have some key players, but they're losing their best player in Marco Cucurella to Chelsea, and for me, bringing in a young Paraguayan talent in an 18-year-old coming from the Paraguayan league is not going to be enough to keep this team up. Yes, Neil Maupay is starting to score more goals, but I don't think single-handedly he can keep this team up, especially losing Yves Bissouma and Marco Cucurella. I think this is a season where we do see the Seagulls and Brighton finally get relegated. That is why my three teams going down the championship are Brighton, Southampton, and Bournemouth, as we see two teams who just got promoted stay alive. And I have Nottingham Forest, Fulham, Wolves, and Everton all kind of bunched up in the same area, as I have Nottingham Forest just surviving in 17th place and Fulham just ahead of them in 16th. I'm going to bunch these two up and talk about them at the same time, as they are both coming from the championship and really could get relegated if things don't go their way. As Nottingham Forest has spent a lot of money and bringing in a lot of players, I think in the region of around 10 to 12, and it's been a lot of players, and it's a very mix and match. And if these players gel together, it is going to be a brilliant time for Nottingham Forest, as I think they could be way higher up the table if all these players do click. But the thing is, if these players don't click, they could pull a Fulham or an Aston Villa that happened years ago, and they could go down or just have an absolute abysmal year. If these teams don't gel like a Fulham or like a Nottingham Forest with their new signings, they could easily go down. But if these players gel, they could be a lot higher up the table. But Nottingham Forest is in 17th, along with Fulham in 16th. These teams have had great transfer windows. The real question is, can they truly get these players to gel into the team and the formation? Next up, we have Wolves in 15th. And for me, guys, this team could easily go straight down. Wolves are a team right now that are on the precipice of falling into the championship again. Ruben Neves might be on his way out to Manchester United if Frankie de Jong does not arrive. And then he would obviously be the next man up and the alternative for Frankie de Jong. And right now, if they lose Ruben Neves, this team is abysmal. For me, Wolves have only brought in Nathan Collins, and it has not been good enough. Yes, they do have the likes of Pedro Neto, who can score goals and bag goals. He needs a breakout season if he's going to keep this team up. Because for me, Raul Jimenez has obviously not been the same since. I've seen him in CONCACAF. I've seen him in the Premier League. Yes, he's had that horrific injury, but he's not been the same player since. And this Wolves team is aging so much, and they're going to lose a lot of quality if Ruben Neves does leave. And this team would just fall down to relegation. And for me, right now, they could easily fall down if they get a bad string of results. We could see Bruno Lage get sacked if things don't go their way immediately. Just above them, I have Everton in 14th place. I think this is going to be a good year for Everton. I think Frank Lampard is going to do some nice things this year. They brought in some great signings in James Tarkowski and, of course, Dwight McNeil for replacement of Richarlison. I think this is a great squad for Frank Lampard. He has his Mason Mount lookalike with Dele Alli, who can definitely fit into that Mason Mount role he had at Chelsea. Frank Lampard will be able to play an attacking style system, a 4-3-3 attack with Dele Alli holding that cam spot. And I think he has a good squad, but not a good enough squad to move up any higher than 14th. I think he'll be able to finally show what he's made of as a manager to really keep them here. I think this would be a success to have him at 14th. I know a lot of people might say it won't be, but just looking at that squad, he really doesn't have that much working with him or to work with. So I think if he can put this squad in 14th, Frank Lampard's done a brilliant job. Moving on to 13th, this is a team that a lot of people have in the relegation battle or just straight up going down, is Leeds United. I think Leeds United are going to stay up. And yes, this is a rogue show, but I really like Jesse Marsch. And as a Canadian, I'm not a fan of the US mentee, but I'm a fan of the two players they brought in from the US mentee, in Brendan Aronson and Tyler Adams. These players are quality, and as a Canadian, I'm very, very high strung on the US mentee, but these players I can't get enough of. I think Brendan Aronson is absolute quality. He creates abundance of chances. He doesn't really get that much goals, which is something he definitely needs to fix in this Jesse Marsch system. But looking at Tyler Adams, I know a lot of people have criticized his size, his stature, but I just don't understand it. People don't look at him as he should be. He is a quality midfielder, and Tyler Adams is a brilliant baller. For me, he's the best US mentee player out there, and he just doesn't get the credit he deserves. Center defensive midfielders don't get the credit, and I think Tyler Adams much deserves it. Playing alongside Marco Roca in this two holding midfielder system under Jesse Marsch, alongside new signings like Rasmus Christensen, this is going to be a very good side for Leeds United, and I think they will surprise quite a few people. Just above them in 12th, I have Brentford. A lot of people may be saying second season syndrome for them, but I definitely am not. They have too good of a manager in Thomas Frank, and they still have too good of a team. Bringing the likes of Aaron Hickey to lock down that left back position is a brilliant piece of business, and in a couple years, they'll be able to flip him for way more. Bringing in Thomas Strakosha, who could challenge for that first team spot with David Raya, and also having Mikhail Damsgaard, who has accepted a contract. If that goes through, they're easily a 12th, 11th, 10th place team. If not, they could drop a little bit lower, especially with losing Christian Eriksen. It is a tough loss. Moving on to 11th, we have Crystal Palace, the Eagles. They've had a very good window, but a poor preseason. We all know the mix-up they've had with half the squad being able to register for preseason, half the squad staying back in England. It was an absolute disaster show. But disregarding that, they still have had a brilliant window. Bringing in Czech Tukore, who can easily replace Conor Gallagher, and I truly believe that's the perfect replacement. You have Omar Richards coming in, another US mentee from Bayern Munich, but they are following this plan that Patrick Vieira has, and it is looking brilliant. Bringing in a young center back who can just fill in beautifully behind Anderson and Mark Guy, and it's a brilliant fit. You have Sam Johnston coming on a free, who is a brilliant piece of business, who can battle out for that number one spot with Vicente Guaita. And you just look at this business and this window and say, congratulations, Crystal Palace, you've done it again for another summer, and they land in 11th. Just in 10th is Leicester City, but for me, they could fall anywhere down to 15th because they have not brought in a single signing. It has been a dead summer for Leicester City, and they have had a poor season last year with a lot of injuries, and if they get injuries again, they are screwed. It is looking like they might sell James Maddison to Newcastle United, as they have come in with two bids, but both been rejected. Newcastle United are very adamant to go out and get a statement forward signing, and it looks like James Maddison is going to be the guy, and I think they will get him eventually. Just time will tell. If they lose Maddison, and it looks like Wesley Fofana might be out the door as well, this team is going to abysmally drop, and in my opinion, could be 15th or 14th position around the table. But moving on, we have a mix-up from 7th position all the way to the 9th. In 9th position is Aston Villa, 8th is Newcastle United, and 7th in the Conference League spot is West Ham United. For me, there's a reason I'm bunching these three teams up in a group of three, because West Ham, Newcastle, and Villa could all be anywhere in those three spots. Aston Villa had a brilliant summer, bringing in a top quality centre back like Diego Carlos, who is playing Champions League football, won the Europa League. He's been absolutely fantastic. And Boubacar Kamara, a player who could have won to a top 6 side. They've had a fantastic summer, but I don't see them. They could jump up there, but it's going to be very interesting to see. And it all depends on what happens with West Ham for these three spots, in my opinion. West Ham are in the Conference League spots this year, challenging, and they are going to be all over Europe. And it's really going to just depend on, are they going to full send it in Europe for the Conference League, which they could easily win, which would then mean they disregard the league. So then if they disregard the league, I could see West Ham dropping down to even 9th or 8th, and Newcastle going to 7th. Have Villa move up. It could be a mixed match. It all depends on what West Ham prioritizes and what they don't, because we all know West Ham do not have the squad depth. And again, Newcastle are in 8th, down to the same reason. It all depends on what West Ham do. Newcastle have had a perfect summer and they're looking to make a statement signing still. They have around 70 million to play with for a forward player who can really splash the cash. Of course, bringing in some great players, a statement signing in Sven Botman, a brilliant deal for Nick Pope, and also locking down Matt Target. They've had a fantastic summer. And another three teams that I have to group together again is Manchester United, Chelsea, and Arsenal. Arsenal fall in 6th, Chelsea in 5th, and Manchester United in 4th. For me, Arsenal fall into 6th just purely because it's going to be an interesting situation with all the new signings and what Mikel Arteta can really do with this. And I think he's done a brilliant job bringing in Zinchenko and Gabriel Jesus. I think Jesus is a perfect Arsenal fit, but will he be good enough down number 9? Does he have the instinct? Can he read the play? Can he follow the channels? It's all up in the air. I think he's better at right wing, as we saw at Manchester City, and it's going to be very interesting to see. I got them locked in at 6th, but it's a battle at 4 for Manchester United and Chelsea for me. It could be a bit of bias, I won't lie, but I do have Chelsea at 5th. Because they've had a very poor summer. They haven't addressed the midfield. They haven't brought in a number 9. And it's looked very interesting at the back as well. Fantastic business bringing in Raheem Sterling and Kalidou Koulibaly, world-class players, world-class stars. But bringing in Marc Cucurella is a waste of 53 million for me. Yes, he's valued at that and should be. But why are you bringing him in when Ben Chilwell will be starting at left wing back for the whole season until the World Cup? He's got to be ready. He's got to be prepared for the World Cup. He's not going to be sitting. And that is why I don't understand this business. Yes, Cucurella could start at left center back, but it's a waste of what he can bring you on that left flank. I just don't understand why they're spending that much cash. And the big reason for me is they haven't brought in number 9. They haven't gotten rid of Kepa, Timo, and their midfield is still a huge question mark in the middle of the pitch with Kante and Jorginho. But Manchester United are in 4th for me, just down to the fact of the Erik ten Hag football looks different. They have a good squad, but the real question here is, what about Frankie? If Frankie de Jong comes from me, Manchester United are locking on 4th, and if they get that forward, they're locking on 4th. And it all depends on if the Ronaldo situation can get settled. Because Manchester United have a very good squad already. They just need that holding midfielder is a huge question. And Frankie de Jong is the man. They need to back Erik ten Hag. And that's going to be a huge question. Whoever gets Frankie between Manchester United and Chelsea is in 4th place. We're going to swiftly jump into 3rd place where I have the Scousers. Liverpool for me are going to drop from 2nd to 3rd this year. And they're not going to be able to contend with Manchester City. As Liverpool have lost Sadio Mane, one of the best players in world football. And I think it is a bigger loss than a lot of people are playing it off to be. Yes, Darwin Núñez for 100 million is a brilliant player, but he's only had one big season for Benfica. Does that mean he's going to be good enough to fill in for one of the best players in the world, probably the best left winger in the world in Sadio Mane? For me, not even close, and they've had such a gap in quality there that I just don't think they will be able to really push these two teams I have at the top. And of course, 1st place is going to be Manchester City, but I have to talk about number 2 in Tottenham Hotspur. I think Tottenham are not going to do a Spursy thing. I think they're going to make that leap, and they're going to come into 2nd place. With the signings of Ivan Perez, Jed Spence, Clement Longley, Yves Bissouma, and so many quality players like Richarlison, they've had the perfect summer. A 10 out of 10, they have been brilliant. And of course, with a manager like Antonio Conte, this team is looking fantastic as we saw last year. And for me, this Tottenham Hotspur side are easily locked in the top 3, but will they be in 2nd or 3rd is the real question. And for me, they have the best front 3 probably in world football or just in the Premier League. With Harry Kane, Heung-min Son, and Dejan Kulusevski, nobody is going to really be able to shut this team out. This is a scary front 3, and they got goals in them for days. I know I got Harry Kane in my FPL team, but what about you guys? It's going to be an interesting time for Tottenham Hotspur, but I got them locked in 2nd place. Moving on to 1st, which is, again, Manchester City. That is right, Erling Haaland coming in, Calvin Phillips, of course, they've had a very good summer. But how will Pep Guardiola be able to change the system to be suiting for a number 9, an out-and-out number 9, cutting the ball in? Will Haaland be able to read all the systems? For me, I think they'll be able to fit in perfectly with the number 9. They've been crying out for so long, those cutbacks, a number 9 waiting for it in the box, and I think they're going to be hammering a lot of teams this year. If Haaland gets all the chances he had in the Community Shield like he did against Liverpool, I think he will be bagging loads of goals. but it is always hard for that Bundesliga player to make the transition to the Premier League, as we've historically seen in the league, like Sancho, Heung-min Son, Timo Werner, Kai Havertz, and the list goes on. But will it be different Erling Haaland? I don't know, but no matter what, I got City in first. Let me know what you guys think about your Premier League predictions, and let me know what you guys think of mine. I know I have some very rogue shouts in there, but I hope you guys think it's very interesting, and we're going to have so much more Premier League content coming out, guys. We got a preview coming on the first game of the season for Arsenal Crystal Palace, and let me know what you guys think down below in the comments about the game starting up, just everything in general. Hit the comments down below, drop a like, hit that sub button, and I'll see you guys for the next one. Peace.